Hi guys, this is Tiffany and this is Tiff and Stitches and welcome back to my knitting podcast. This is knitting podcast number 9 ever. Feels weird to say that. It's been so long since I've done this regularly, but we are changing that this year. So knitting podcast number 9. And I am coming to you guys filming from Conroe, Texas, technically, which is a suburb of Houston. So that is where I live and raise my kiddos, and I think we have a long one ahead of us today. So get some knitting, probably a beverage, maybe a snack, and buckle up because it's a long one. And I'm excited about it. I have so much to share. If you could only see everything that's over here, it's a lot. So I'm really excited about it, and I hope you guys enjoy the episode. So we will just jump right in to what I'm wearing, which is an older finished object. It's not something that I have finished recently, but there's a lot I have never worn on my channel, and I'm trying to get caught up. I actually have 2 more sweaters that are more fall sweaters that I finished in the last year that you guys have never seen. So I will be wearing those in the next 2 upcoming podcasts, so that way we're all caught up. And I probably won't have any finished objects, maybe, but it would be slim chance that I'm gonna have any more finished objects here for a bit, just because of what I've got on my needles and deadlines I have and things like that. So anyways, what I am wearing today, this is my Luna tee, and I will have everything I talk about today linked in the description box below. So if you want to check out the pattern on Ravelry, check out the yarn that I knit it with, anything like that, that will be down below. So I don't think I mentioned today is Friday, October 25th, and yeah, it's lunchtime. So I am wearing my Luna tee, which I love, and I knit this. I actually pulled it up. It's been so long since I've made this that I could not remember what the yarn was called, but I pulled it up. I purchased it from La Mercerie because I actually saw, what's her name? Her YouTube is Gently Chaotic Knits. She knit this a long time ago, and she knit it in this yarn in a different color. And she worked at La Mercerie at the time. And that's a yarn shop up in Seattle. I've actually been there. It's a beautiful yarn shop. My sister lives in Seattle. And so during one of my trips, I got to go visit some yarn shops up there. And this was one that I absolutely wanted to go see. So that one was a fun trip. But I knit this in Rerum Natura in the Albertine base. And I knit it in the color Oursin, which is a really pretty dusty purple. This yarn is a 4-ply worsted spun yarn made from merino sheep raised in France and with a touch of silk from China. And 90% merino, 10% silk. And yeah, I knit it, I think, in the called for needles. Let me get closer so you guys can see it is a broken rib pattern. I do have on the front here, you could see it here and then again up here, where I carried, I was trying the weave in Steven, or, carry your yarn behind your loops and not have to weave in the ends. And I should not have done that with this pattern. So lesson learned, but I don't like the way that that looks, but it's handmade, and I don't think it's a little bit noticeable, but not super noticeable. So anyway, I wear this to work with high-waisted skirts. I wear it with high-waisted pants. I'm wearing it with jeans currently. So I feel like it's a really good length for all of those options. And yeah, I wouldn't say I've worn this a ton. It was a bit of a slog to knit, if I'm being honest. Being that it's all over broken rib, I was really intrigued by the yoke. So I made it through this fairly quickly. There's no there's literally, you barely pick up sleeves. So the sleeves go really fast. I loved the construction of the yoke and making that all work. But then once I got into the body, this whip drug on for quite a while. I put it down and then I finished it. So I love it. I love the finished product. I think it looks very professional. I love the silhouette of it. Highly recommend the pattern, but just do know going into it that it is it gets a bit sluggish, you know what I'm saying? So that is what I'm wearing. I don't think I have anything else to say about this. It's a lovely pattern. I think I had a little bit of yarn left over from the project. I don't know what I would do with that just because of the nature of the yarn. It's not enough for a sweater. I'm not sure what I would make out of it, but it's maybe good for color work in a different sweater. Like maybe I'll do that. Who knows? But okay, so finished objects. We have a full plate today. I'm like, I just don't even know where to start. There's so much to talk about. Okay, I only have one, and it's not a garment or anything super fancy, but I figured I would show it anyway. I did finish another, it looks so bright in the camera, another fold on yourself or fold on itself pot holder for the kitchen. So this is made out of Knit Picks Dishie in the colorway, what are you? Cup and Saucer. So that's the yarn. It doesn't use a full ball. I haven't weighed what's left over. It's not enough to make another pot holder, but it could be enough to like do a striped dish towel or something like that. So that's probably what I'm gonna do. But yeah, I like it. Came out looking very painted and like abstract, which I like. And it's the colors of my kitchen, so I've been using my blue one a ton. It's actually in the washing machine right now because it's been well loved in the past little bit. I had family in town and we cooked a lot and it got a lot of use. So this being finished was a must because I need to have more than one pot holder in the house. So I went ahead and finished that up. I did start another one. My mom wanted to know how I made this, so I was showing her while she was here. And so I did, I don't know if you call it casting on and crochet, but just barely have started a gray one. So it looks like a little twisty worm, but that is also the same pattern in the Knit Picks Dishie silver colorway. So it's just barely started, but I will be cranking that one out next. I have lots of other colors that I need to get done in that, so I will have a lot of pot holders, which is good. I need them. So that's the only finished object that I have, but to say I have a ton of whips and a ton of acquisitions is an understatement. Plus I have a really fun story that I want to share with you guys. Okay, so let's dive in to the whips. We will go from the shortest, easiest to the one with the most to talk about. So buckle up. Okay, so I alluded in my last video that I might be putting this one away, and I ended up going to the movies with my kids and my mom and my brother. We went to see The Wild Robot, which you should go see, especially if you're a parent. Like, oh man, it was so well done. I cried, I laughed. The music is great. I downloaded the soundtrack. My kids loved it. It was very, very well done. Really cool story about, I don't want to give anything away, but really about evolving into a being who doesn't just do, but one who loves. And it had an allusion to motherhood and raising children, and then having to set them out into the world and hope that they survive and do well, which is what got me like right in the feels. But just overall, such a good movie. Highly, highly recommend. But I took my Cumulus tee because I just needed something. A lot of everything else I'm working on is either colorwork or textured, which I can't knit in the dark, but I can knit stockinette around without looking all day. So I was like, well, I'll just take it and might as well have something to work on. There's no point in wasting the 3 hours you'll be at the movies, right? Because to me, time sitting idle not knitting is time wasted. So, and I noticed in my last video that I had all of the string yarn like blocking the view of the sweater. So this is my current status of my Cumulus. This is a pattern by Petite Knit, the Cumulus tee, and I am knitting this out of Kraken yarn in their blue silky base in the color Lichen, and it is an absolutely gorgeous mixture of blue face, luster, and silk, and it's the drapiest, most beautiful fabric. Like, I cannot wait to have this finished object. So I did knit right about, you can see my progress keeper right there. I knit about an inch in the movies, which, you know, isn't too bad. I got an inch done is an inch done, right? So I think I'm about at 17 inches on this guy now, and I have to get to 21. So I just need to I need to pick it up in the spare time that I have. I'm knitting this on, so the pattern calls for 2.5, US 2.5. I'm knitting it on a US 3. I got gauge on a US 3. And this project is really special to me. So a little backstory, I started a Cumulus tee with some cheap Hobby Lobby yarn, and it just was way not engaged. I don't know what I was thinking, but it's trash. I mean, it's in the trash. I don't think it exists anymore. If it does, it's needs to go in the trash. And it was in a green color, and I really wanted it in this green color. And so when I found this yarn when I was in Hanover, I was in Celle, Germany for work, and drove to Hanover over the weekend and found this dyer, went to the studio. I've told this story before. But when I found this green, I was like, it's kind of, you know, kismet to come full circle, knit this correctly in a green color, but a much more luxurious yarn, something that is more of an heirloom piece that I can keep and wear a lot. And I really do want the finished object, and I'm so close to being finished. All I have left to do is about 3 inches on the body, pick up and knit barely anything for the sleeves, and then do the I-cord finishing. That's all I have left to do. So I think I've decided I'm not going to put this in hibernation. I'm going to have it available when I need something simple to work on, when I'm watching a movie with my kids, or I just need a break from the complexity of all of the other whips that you're about to see. I think that this is good to keep in rotation, and I would like to finish it. So yeah, we're cracking away. I am holding this in I'm knitting that in a size small. I'm pretty sure a size small. And I'm holding this in a project bag from Bethany at the Wandering Purl. She has started making bags pretty recently in the last few months, and I have a new one to show you, but she just does a wonderful job. It's got pockets all the way around. All of this is pockets. There's pockets all on the inside. This is one of her bucket bags, and she's starting some new designs, but I love this, and it's perfect for fall. I like the colors of it, so it's definitely my aesthetic. And I'll show you the new one that I got. It's gorgeous too. So yeah, that's from the Wandering Purl. I will link her Etsy shop below. So that is whip number 1, and that is by far the easiest one that we're going to talk about today. The rest, I think, I'm trying to remember where I was on my porcelain sweater when I filmed last, because I did try to film a video last week because I thought I have way too much to talk about, but it was really rushed. I had to go get my son from school, and I didn't talk about things in detail the way that I wanted to, so I kind of scrapped that video. But now I'm having a hard time remembering where I was on some of this stuff when I did film last. I may need to go look. Okay, so I have not done anything on my porcelain sweater. I did, however, take the needles out of it because I needed the cord. I haven't ripped it back, so it's just kind of sitting with no needles in it at the moment, and I need to go through and rip it back. I haven't worked on it at all, and I haven't ripped it out, so no new progress there. But just to recap, in case you haven't watched my prior episodes, this is my porcelain sweater by Lay Knit. I am knitting this in the called for yarn bases, but different color combo. The main color is a combination of Sandnes Garn, Tynn, Pure Gynt with Sandnes Garn, Tynn Silk Mohair. The Mohair is in the color Almond, the Tynn Pure Gynt is in the color Oatmeal, and then the Colorwork is in Blackberry for both. And I absolutely love this sweater, and I do intend to get back to it. I just have a test knit that's due, and it's Colorwork as well, and that has been the top priority, and I just never made it to ripping that back. So that will happen It has not been worked on though. But the next 2 whips have a lot of work and I'm really excited to show you guys. So I did bring a little hanger to like make this a little bit neater of a showcase of these sweaters. The first one I'm going to talk about is my Ingrid sweater by Petite Knit. I'm sure you guys have seen this pattern, but I have made some really good progress on this, I think, since you guys have seen it last. I did have to put it down to work on my test knit, but it is much further than it was when you saw it last time. So here we go. Let's get the ends out of the way here for you so that you have a clear picture of where we're at. Sorry, my YouTube video is still going. So here we go. We are completely joined under the arms and like have some decent progress there. I was at the end of this lattice section last time you saw it, so I was not joined in the round. And I have since knit this entire rib section here and this entire moss stitch section here. That section is complete, and that's kind of where it was a neat place for me to stop. And so, yeah, so let's talk about the yarn here. So this is being knit in a combination of Holst Garn Super Soft, and I'm holding that yarn double. So 2 strands of Holst Garn Super Soft in the color Sugarsnap, and I'm holding that with Knitting for Olive Mohair in the color Dusty Rose. And it is coming out with this really dimensional, beautiful, I don't even know if you're picking up the dimension. The lighting is not as great today because it's a little, I don't know, it's a little overcast outside, but it's a really dimensional mauvey pink. I really like it. So I'm actually, the way the body goes, there is a double lattice section next, and then there is another rib section, and then I think another moss stitch, and then the ribbing at the bottom. So I've got a few more sections on the body, and then obviously the sleeves and the collar. I'm at a point where I did finish the balls of yarn that I was working with. So I'm thinking I'm gonna move to the collar next and get that done, and then finish the body and then do the sleeves. That's what I'm kind of thinking. With it being a drop shoulder, I want to maybe block it before I do the sleeves, just to see where the shoulders are going to sit on me and how many repeats I think I need to do with the sleeves. But I'm knitting this on the called for needles, which is a US size 6. The ribbing will be done in a US 4, and I did get gauged. I think I was off by 1 stitch, but I decided to go with it. I'm knitting this in the size small. What else? I just really am enjoying it. It's like one of those things that, you know, you want to get from the next section and just see how it works up. I really love the moss stitch. I think that it looks really pretty. I'm loving the yarn combination. Like, I really do enjoy like a woolly wool, kind of a rustic paired with the mohair. I think it has structure, but it's also soft. I think it's going to soften a ton. I didn't even show you guys the back. This is what the back is looking like. Yeah, so I'm really loving how this one's looking, and I think that's it. Yeah, just been cracking away at it. I was working on this a lot while I was waiting on my yarn for my test knit to come in, but as soon as that came in and I got to a good stopping point on this, I moved over to the test knit just because deadlines and such, and plus I was just really excited to knit that test knit. Okay, so we have got one more whip to talk about today, and that is the piece de resistance, I think, which is my test knit. So let's get it on the hanger here. We're still attached. I've been working on this today, so I've gotten a couple rows done today, but let's get this on the hanger, and then we will show her off in all of her glory. I'm super proud of this so far, like really proud of it. So, okay, this is my Iris pullover, and this is by Trin Annalie. And oh my god, I love it. I love it, I love it. So this has been, we have a lot to talk about here. This one has been quite the adventure. So first, let's just look at these colors. I think they're turning out so kind of moody, and like her version, we'll talk, I have the swatch of her color palette because I bought her color palette as well, and I absolutely love her color palette. But I thought as a test knitter that I should switch it up and give her some variety in the photos on her project page, give people more inspiration of like the different color combos that you can get from Holst Garn and you can use in this pattern. Obviously you don't have to use Holst Garn, but that's what she knitted in, and I love Holst Garn. I think they have such good colors with a good price, and it's a beautiful wool. So anyway, that being said, so this is my color palette. You can see that it is a deeper, darker, moodier, you know, color palette. I think that it is coming across really, really true to color, so that's awesome. And this construction, it has been a learning experience. Like, oh man. Okay, so first of all, let me tell you what yarns I'm knitting this in so that you have it. These will also all be listed in the description box below, just to make it easy so you know what I did and how many of each ball you would need if you wanted to replicate this, which I would not be offended if you don't, but if you did, it's there if you want it. So, okay, my main color is the same main color that she used, and that is Holst Garn Super Soft in the color Nougat. I did get a cone because that was the most economical way with the amount of yarn needed for the pattern, and I'm also knitting this twice, so this is 2 sweaters worth of yarn. So I went ahead and got a cone. This is Nougat. I love it. It's a beautiful neutral. It's very neutral. It doesn't lean warm. It doesn't really lean cool. It's a solid neutral. And then we have got, let me see if I can remember all the names. So the dark brown here is the color Coffee. There is a pinky purple here at the top of the triangle, which is the color Sweet Pea. Then this grayish blue, I don't know if you can make out the blue in there, but this color is called Truffle. This pinky purple is Damask. This purple is Elderberry. And ooh, what is the green called? That one's the only one that's not coming to my brain. Lark. The green is called Lark. And then it goes back to the coffee color. So we are on our second repeat of the pattern. You can see the back here with uninterrupted flowers. So, oh man, I'm proud of this, guys. I'm really, really enjoying the cadence I've gotten with the color work. I'm enjoying the fact that I have now steeked. I'll show you that in a second. The construction is not done perfectly. I think, and this came up in the tester chat, and I don't think that she would be upset if I talked about this, but the video she referenced for the cast on technique was a 2-color cast on, and it's, so let me just show you this seam. So, okay, so you see how there is a seam here on the shoulder? It's not supposed to look like this. It's actually supposed to look like slip stitches. And if I would have done a normal cast on, it would have. But the video she linked referenced doing 2-color for double knitting cast on, and it told you to knit cast on one stitch and purl cast on the other stitch. And because that's what she attached, I thought that was what I was supposed to do, but I think I was actually just supposed to cast on knit stitches and then split them the way the video did, and then I would have had the pretty slip stitch detail on the shoulder. But once I figured that out, and once the chat and the tester thread kind of pointed that out, I was too far gone, and this was new for me, and it was tedious and almost a little bit painful because I don't think I was doing a good job, and like I was having to really so when you first do this and you start knitting and you get to where you're doing the steek stitches, these are steek stitches, so this is completely a tube. There's no armholes right now. when you get to this point at the top here, it's very, very tight on your needles. And so she added to the pattern that this top section needs to be knit in magic loop, which I eventually switched to just because I could not get it to work. I could not, no matter what size cord I did, it was just getting really caught and I was hurting my finger trying to like get this done. And so eventually I just chose to do it magic loop, and I kept my magic loop at the steek side so that if there was a little gappiness, it would be okay. And then eventually you get far enough down where you can actually work in the round and not have it caught up at the seam. But I had already gotten to that point when I realized that I did the cast on that the video said, and it wasn't exactly what she meant for us to do. And so this version is not gonna have the pretty slip stitch, it's just gonna have a seam. And it's, you know, it's just a seam, it's not anything crazy, but it could look prettier if it would have been done right. But that was confusion, and she's spelling that out differently in the pattern, so it shouldn't be confusion moving forward. But other than that, once you get past the section where you do have to do the magic loop, it's smooth sailing. Like I am on a nice size cable with US 4 needles, which are called 4 needles in the pattern, and I am not having any issues at all. So I didn't want to go back and start over once I had gotten to the point where I had gotten past the painful part and like figured out that I needed to do magic loop. And so we're just keeping it. We're keeping it with that one little design element that's not perfect, but that's okay. So you cast on, double knitting, cast on, and then you kind of work the back and you do some short rows to get some shaping here and here, and then obviously you cast on these stitches in between, and then you move to the front and you do some short rows here, and then this is all originally joined together, and you steek it when you get to a certain spot. So let me see if I can not mess up my crochet reinforcement. But if you look here, you can see that I have in the dark purple a crochet reinforcement, and that there was originally a steek here in the middle, and it was combined. And so you're just knitting in a tube. The tube is much tighter than it is now, which is why it's so much easier to knit now that it's steeked and open, which she does put in the pattern. She says steek it as soon as you can because it's going to be much easier to work on once you steek it. So she was right. she knew what she was talking about. So it's so much easier now, so much more, just it flows a little bit better. But yeah, so I steeked for the first time. I did decide to do a crochet reinforcement. I just watched a video on that. I can link that below. It was easy to follow. I think it's like a 2-year-old video. It was easy enough. And yeah, so I'm following the pattern to a T. I have not made any modifications. Right now I'm knitting until I get to a certain sleeve depth, and then I will have to steek my sleeves. So steek it there and over here. And then I will be knitting the body and then the sleeves and the collar and all the things. So I am trying to work on this every day. I feel like I've made pretty good progress. I'm so excited for it. I cannot wait to have it finished and like be able to wear it. I think it's gonna be so pretty. So yeah, I think that's everything that I have to say. I did film, little side note, and I'll link it in a card here and like down below. I filmed how I catch my floats in my Colorwork. And I was kind of hesitant to put out a tutorial on that because I don't know if anybody would need that or if it already exists. I discovered the way that I catch my floats, honest to God, just made up with looking at the way I needed to trap the yarn and what would be best. I do it 2 different ways depending on if I'm catching my dominant color or my contrast color, and it keeps me from getting my yarn twisted and it keeps me flowing through the project. I don't have to stop. I don't have to reorganize my yarns and where they're at. And so I did film that. And so if you do color work and you dread catching floats, maybe watch this and see if it would make you not dread it, because I don't dread it at all. I actually think it's fun, and I don't feel like it really slows me down too much with the way that I'm doing it. So yeah, I get to keep my hands on the needles. I do knit continental with my dominant color, and I knit English style with my non-dominant color, and I get to keep that rhythm going, and I don't have to change anything when I catch my floats. So this pattern is expected to launch or be published in December. So this is going to be a big focus of mine until I finish it. I don't know that I will work on much else, just because first of all, I'm loving it, but second of all, I do have a deadline. So, and then I've mentioned this on the last podcast, but I want to mention it again. I think it would be so fun to do like a full Colorwork knit along. It doesn't necessarily have to be this pattern. I am going to reknit this pattern in the original color story because I love it and I do want it, but I wanted as a test knitter to be a good test knitter and not just do her same exact color palette. But I want that sweater too. So I'm thinking about doing a knit along in December that's going to be a Colorwork sweater knit along. And by that time, the testers will have all of their inspiration photos on the project page. There is one girl who's doing Christmas colors and it looks gorgeous. So people are getting really creative with their colors, and people are doing dark backgrounds with lighter contrast or, you know, whatever. And those look beautiful. So I think there's so many ways you can really like bring this pattern to life, and it's really just fun. It's only 2 colors ever, so you never are doing more than 2 colors on any given row. It's really intuitive. Like once you get the first pattern repeat, which is a 24 stitch repeat, once you get that done, you know how to do the rest of it, and so it flows really easily. It takes me, with over 200 stitches on the needles, it takes me about 12 minutes to do a row, and that's, you know, I probably stopped a couple of times in there when I was timing it. So yeah, this is the Iris pullover, and you'll be seeing a lot more of her in current new videos. I can't even speak. In future videos. That's the word I was looking for. Future videos. So I think that's all I have to say on that one. Of course, if you guys have any questions, or like if you're intrigued about anything with the color work on this, comment below, let me know. Okay, so that is everything whips wise, everything I have knit on in the last 2 weeks. I feel like that's a lot. Like, I feel like I've gotten a lot done, especially between my Ingrid sweater and the Iris pullover. I feel pretty proud of that. And then, you know, miscellaneous other things, but I feel like that's a lot. And I guess we will go on to, oh, one more thing on the Iris sweater, Iris pullover. This is the original color palette. I did swatch with that, so totally different vibe than mine. Very warm toned. Mine is very cool toned, very light and bright, very moody and dark, you know. So I tried to go very different, but I am so excited to have this version. I feel like the yarn, Holst garn, I keep cutting my head off. Holst garn is a yarn that comes with spinning oil, and when I washed this swatch, the amount that it brightened up was so cool. So I'm interested to see, because obviously this has not been blocked, like how much, especially the pink and the green, brighten. So we'll see. It may be like a very springy sweater when it's all said and done, but I'm excited to see how it evolves, because this one definitely did brighten a lot once that spinning oil was washed out of the yarn. But in terms of acquisitions, I did get the color palette for this one as well. So let me go through the colors really quickly and show you guys, because they are also very, very beautiful. So the main color is the same, the Nougat, which I got the cone of. And then we have got the blues, which are Topaz and Marlin. There. Those are the 2 blues for the flowers. And then the stems are in a gray called Pebble. And then we've got the colors of the diamonds. And so the main color of the diamonds is cinnamon. And then the contrast colors are gold crest and maize. So that is what made this beautiful combo. So those are acquisitions. And when I got my Holst garn, when I was going to order, okay, I ordered the original color palette before I got accepted into the test knit. And I knew the test knitters got a 20% discount, but I knew it would take a while to get to me, and it did. I got this color palette 2 days after the test started, and I got my color palette 3 or 4 days later. So I was about a week behind in starting this, just because it took a minute to get the yarn. But I got the 20% discount when I got accepted to the test knit, so when I ordered this color palette, it was 20% off. And then I was like, it's on Super Soft, and I was like, I love Super Soft. As you guys know, I'm knitting three or four sweaters with Holst garn right now. 3, I think, outside of this one. So this is my 4th. So I'm knitting my Ingrid sweater in Holst garn, I'm knitting my Storm sweater in Holst garn, and I'm knitting my Aurelia pullover in Holst garn, and then this one. So I love it. It's not just, I mean, when she posted this, I thought it was beautiful. When she said it was in Holst garn, I was like, sold. I want to do it. But I thought I would get myself a couple more cones because the 20% discount, it's already really affordable yarn. I'm paying for shipping from Denmark, which is already pricey, so why not get some stuff I'll use. So I did get a couple of additional cones that I'm reaching for. Give me 1 second. There's one more, and it's a color that I actually am using in my sweater. Okay, so the truffle color, which is the gray, a reminder, it's the gray up here in this Colorwork. I got a cone of it because it is this really pretty brownish, grayish blue color, and I thought this would look so gorgeous in like a stockinette pullover, so I got that. And then I got this color, which is Mariner. Oh, look how pretty. Okay, it's coming out so true to color. It's like a really pretty blue, navy blue. So I got Mariner. I don't know what I will make with these yet, but I have them. And then I wanted a neutral, and I think I know what I want to make with this, but we'll see if my thing changes. This is called Oatmeal, and it's funny because it is very similar to Nougat. This is the Oatmeal, this is the Nougat, but Nougat is obviously lighter. This one has a little bit more cream and tan dimension to it. But yeah, so I got this one in Oatmeal. So that is what I got in my old order from Holst garn. I got, my first order was my original color palette colors that I'm gonna knit second. My second order was my color palette with those 3 cones in addition. And I don't know that I mentioned this, but the neckline and the cuffs of the sleeves and the bottom hem of the sweater are in bleached white, and I actually already owned that. So, like I said, I love Holst garn. I have knit with this before. I don't own the sweater anymore because it was not my size, but I have enough of this to do what needs to be done on the sweater, so I did not have to order any more of it. So that's that part of the haul. Then I will show you my project bag that I got from the Wandering Purl. These beautiful pumpkins with a green bottom. It's got like polka dot on the inside, and when you know, it's got a strap here. Anyways, I just thought it was so autumnal and fun. I don't have anything in it yet because everything I'm knitting is too big for this size bag. But I will find something to put in it and use it. So I did get that from Bethany, and I love it. Okay, and then the last bit of haul comes with a story, and then I'm going to be announcing the giveaway winners, which is exciting. So my mom and my sister came in town to visit and see the family, see the boys, see my brother, and it was kind of an early birthday celebration for everyone. My brother's birthday was in October, so they came down for that. But both my boys' birthdays are basically within the same week of my birthday. So we're all November babies. My oldest is November 11th. My youngest is November 14th, and I'm November 20th. So lots of birthdays in November. We're all Scorpios, living our best lives over here. So my mom and sister came in town, and it was to celebrate birthdays. And so she asked me what I wanted, and I was like, yarn for a sweater? And she was like, okay. So we went to Canny Katoo yarn shop, which is in Cypress, Texas. I'll definitely link her website below. Really, really cool yarn shop because she only carries like Nordic European yarns. So she carries Knitting for Olive, she carries Isair, she carries some like roving, unwoven type yarn. She like very rustic European yarns, very beautiful selection. So if you're in the market for that type of yarn in Houston, it's the perfect shop to go to because she carries a lot of it. And I knew that I wanted to try Isair for the terracotta sweater by Lay Knit. That's something that I hope to knit in the future. It's obviously not something that is in the cards right now. I do not have enough arms or enough time to knit another sweater right this moment. But maybe it'll be something that I cast on for the winter or the spring if I make some good progress on my current projects this fall. And so my mom graciously offered to give me a budget towards that yarn. I covered the rest of it, and I got yarn for that sweater. So let me show you what I got. I am staying true to the pattern because I love the color palette in that sweater. If you haven't seen it, this is the terracotta sweater by Lay Knit, and she knitted it in Sandnes Garn, I think. And I am going a little rogue because I was inspired by Knits by Wilma. She used Isair paired with Filcolana, and it just inspired me because I really wanted to try Isair Mohair. And so here we be. And so let's see what I'm doing here. I haven't swatched yet, so I'm hoping it comes to life the way that I think it will. But I did get the Isair Alpaca 2, 50% alpaca, 50% wool in the color E0. And I'm going to be pairing it with Knitting for Olive Mohair in Mushroom Rose to bring out like a tan color. And that's what I haven't swatched, but that's what I hope will happen. We'll see. I think it'll be pretty. I think it'll be a pretty combination. And then my contrast color is going to be Isair in the color 1, which is a burnt orange. I don't know if it's coming. It comes across a little bit red, but it's burnt orange for sure. And then the Isair Silk Mohair in the color 28. And that will be the contrast color. So my mom graciously paid for the bulk of this purchase. But here's where we get to the story. And I got enough skeins in here to make the whole sweater. But while we were in the yarn shop, I look behind me and there's these little bunny rabbits. And they're so cute. I'll put a picture here that I took while I was in the yarn shop. The owner had bought them like this cute little bunny house. And I was like, man, I've never seen like shop bunnies. I've seen like a shop cat, but I've never seen bunnies. And she's like, I know, isn't it so cool? She's like, my employee who was there at the time, she's like, her bunny had babies and she gifted these to me. And I was like, well, they're so fluffy. Like they're just I mean, you saw the picture. They're the fluffiest little things. They're so cute. And so she was telling me about the bunnies, the employee was, and she was like, you know, I've just got 3 more to get rid of. I'm giving them away for free because we already have our bunnies and we didn't expect to have this many bunnies. And I was like, you're giving them away for free? She was like, yeah. And she's like, we have 2 boys and a girl. And my boyfriend and I had been talking about getting bunnies because last spring, summer, we covered his garden. He has this gorgeous garden, this huge garden space in his backyard. We covered it with landscaping fabric because he had planted some passion flower and the passion flower had taken over the whole yard. And so we needed to kill the passion flower off. And we tried a lot of different things, and we just realized we've got to just get rid of the garden for a year, cover it, let it sit under the dark fabric, and it'll die out. And for the most part, it has. We have a couple little, that stuff populates and takes over a whole area. So anyway, in our preparation for getting ready to pull the fabric this winter and get ready for a spring garden, we had been talking about bunnies because their bunny poop is a amazing fertilizer for a garden. It's a great thing to put in your compost. It has a lot of nitrogen, a lot of fiber. The way they digest the hay that they eat and the food that they eat, it becomes a very good fertilizer and a very natural fertilizer for plants. And so this had been in talks. We had talked about this for months, and recently he had kind of brought up that he was like, I think we should do the bunny thing. So when she said she had 3 bunnies, I was like, hold please. So I called my boyfriend from the car and I was like, hey, if I were to tell you that I stumbled upon 3 free bunny rabbits, what would you say? And he said, I would say, get them. And I was like today, like 5 minutes down the road, I get them, I bring them home. And he's like, today? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, I guess. And I love that about him. Like, the one thing about us is like, we can be spontaneous, but like spontaneous with a plan. Like I didn't bring home bunnies that we had never talked about, but I did see an opportunity, right? And so we are the proud new owners of 3 new bunnies. I don't know their names. We thought we knew their names, but the boys have changed their names, so I'm not really sure what they're being called. We have a girl and 2 boys. We're in the process of really figuring out their living situation. We have them set up now. They're happy, but we want to get them a cool setup for the future that's kind of lifted off the ground, allows their poop to go into like a little container. So we're going to be engineering all of that. We have to build it. But yeah, they're cute. They're white. They all have blue eyes. They're fun. They are sweet. They scratch a little bit because they don't love being held, but they do love running around and being petted, and they're super cute. So a trip to the yarn shop resulted in 3 new pets that we love, and it's really been fun. So that's that story. And I think, oh yeah, we're at 48 minutes. Okay, we're gonna pick giveaway winners because that is where we are. So let's random comment generator. All right, so there's 3 comments for international winner, and I can't get it to give me, so I'm gonna just do hey Siri, pick a random number between 1 and 3. 1. Okay, so the winner is, all right, so the winner is, I'll put your name on the screen, at Alyssa B8096. She commented that she was an international viewer and she's from Italy. And so Alyssa, if you will, I'm gonna put my email in the description box below. Shoot me an email, and with what pattern on Ravelry that you would like and what your Ravelry username is, okay? And if I haven't heard back from her in the next 2 weeks, I will pull another winner. So then let's do the local, pull that list, done. Okay. So there's a total of 7 comments for the local for the yarn, and we've got 2 winners to choose. Hey Siri, pick a number between 1 and 7. 3. Hey Siri, pick a number between 1 and 7. 4. 3 and 4. So that would be, I'll put your names on the screen again, but the winner of, ooh, the purple yarn is going to be Lisa Ellison 7054. And so if you will email me with your physical address that you would like me to mail this to, and obviously your name, I will get this sent to you. And then the winner of the sock set, here, you can see that, from Heidi and Lana is going to be Lisa Jansen 6688. So same for you. If you will just email me your shipping address, then I will get this yarn shipped out to you. So thanks for everyone who watched and who entered the giveaway. I'm excited to gift that to you, and hopefully I'll get to do some more giveaways in the future. But that's all I have for today. We're about an hour in, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.